All right, this is Dr. Dan Ritchie, president of the Functional Aging Institute, and today we have got a fantastic webinar with Nicole Gephardt. She actually has done webinars for us in the past on a variety of marketing topics, so if you haven't seen those recordings, I strongly encourage you to do that. I've known Nicole now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I lose track. We've had a great time teaching each other marketing strategies, helping other local businesses learn how to develop their brand and their local message. But tonight she's going to talk about how you can organize and get 3 to 6 months of social media done all in an afternoon. So Nicole, thanks so much for doing this, and you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and let's get rolling. We're going to jump right into it. Our goal is to respect everybody's time, get them back to their families, so we'll try to get through this in about half an hour. What we're going to talk about tonight is a strategy I like to call bucket projects, where we block off our calendar for 2-4 hours and just really focus on getting one thing done. And so tonight we're going to talk about how to do that to get some social media work done. So I want to stress, though, this is a basic marketing project. So if you are actively involved in Facebook marketing and you really understand it and you've got the elaborate sales funnels and all of that, you may get bored with some of this, but I'm going to share 3 cool hacks, some stuff that you may not know is available to you, and some ways to get some stuff done via shortcut. So if you're a pro at Facebook, stick around. There's still some pieces in here that you'll enjoy, so you can kind of zone in, and when you see big red letters, you might want to pop in and make sure that you're paying attention. Okay, so you got to know a little bit about me. I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook and with social media in general. From a marketing standpoint, it is somewhat of a dream come true because it does open us up to quote-unquote free advertising, right? It brought the greatest party in the world right to our doorsteps, and we can hop on there and connect with anybody at any time, and that is wonderful. But the reality is, as small business owners, it's exhausting trying to keep up with this too. So our grandparents had it made. If they wanted to advertise, about once every 4 to 6 months, they hopped in and maybe they bought a billboard ad or they updated their newspaper ad, and then once a year they had to update their Yellow Pages ad. And for the most part, then all they did was change some flyers, that they might, or coupons that they might distribute to their local customers. But they were touching marketing maybe once a month. But in general, they weren't trying to keep up with the pace that we are here. So when I talk about it, it's my love-hate relationship. I look at it from that perspective because my #1 priority is to help my clients build the business they really want without losing the goals of their life, which is time with their family and the other things that are important to them. So, so why bother with Facebook? I think it's pretty obvious. It's the biggest part of the social party of the year, and if your clients are there, you want to be there. So that's the bonus. What happened here? We lost slides. You are seeing my slides, correct?
Yeah, we're seeing them.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that's the good news about Facebook, but here's the reality about Facebook, and that is for the small business owner right now, if you hopped onto your Facebook business page and you posted a post, if you do not promote or pay for a boosting of that ad, only about 4 to 8% of your fans are going to see that post, unless for some reason it goes viral and a bunch of your fans start liking and commenting on it, and it starts to pick up its own momentum. So that means if you've got 100 fans and you post something, you may get 8 people that see it. You got 500 fans, you may get 16 people to see it. If you look at it from that perspective, you're like, wow, how, is it worth my time? We're going to talk about a little bit of that later on. The other kind of bad news thing is that the half-life for a Facebook post is just 90 minutes. So that means if I post something amazing this morning, and my ideal clients have a lot of things in their news feed, 3 hours from now, it's gone. They'll never see it. So the downside of that is if your ideal client is somebody who is not really active in Facebook and doesn't have a whole lot of fans, your half-life is actually much longer than that. So I'll give you an example. If you've got somebody in the boomer age range that maybe gets on Facebook, but they've only got 100 friends and they don't like very many businesses, then you could post at 8 a.m. this morning and they would still see it in their news feed tonight at 9 p.m. So that's the advantage. It depends kind of on your market, who your half-life is. But if you are marketing to someone like Dan or me and you've got somebody, we've got a bunch of things that are competing for our attention in our news feed, you may never see it or we may never see your post. Okay, here's some reasons though why you want to like Facebook.
Hold on one second, Nicole. Just to double check, because we got one attendee who's saying that they are not seeing your slides. Is everyone seeing Nicole's slide right now that says why we like Facebook with a thumbs up? If you are, just put your hand up or post in the question box. Yes, a bunch of people chiming in. Yes. Looks like a whole bunch of folks are seeing it. So Paola, I am not sure why you're not seeing her screen, because I'm seeing her screen just fine. Yep, there's another hand. So looks like everybody's seeing it. I'm not sure why we got one attendee who's saying that
James says tell him to hit the red something.
Yeah, James says tell him to hit the red arrow. Paola, is there a red arrow or something? I'm sorry, I'm not usually on the viewer end of this, so there may be a big red arrow to show the screen. Anyway, so sounds like most of our attendees are seeing your screen, so you can proceed. Sorry, Nicole.
Very good. And a shout out to Clemendu is up at 2 a.m. to hear this wisdom. Wow, shout out to you. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome, man. So, all right, I'll try to make it worth your time and get you back to bed here soon. Okay, so why do we like Facebook? Again, it's the biggest party of the year. There are really good reasons you need to be there. And the number one reason is if your clients are there, then you definitely want to be there. But let's talk about some ways to use Facebook. The number one way I like to use Facebook is to connect on a personal level with people. So that is, I identify who my ideal clients are or who my top clients are, and I want to know what's going on in their life. So I want to know what's going on in Dan Ritchie's life and Robin Robertson's life. And so when I'm friends with them on Facebook on a personal level, then I get to know them and like them. And so that's the majority of time. There's two places I spend the majority of my time in Facebook. Number one is connecting with the people that are most important to me and staying on top of that. The second reason is what's so great about Facebook, and that's the private group interactions. So this is where I spend most of my time. I'm a member of several private groups that are full of people that are my ideal client. So they're in groups that are, and for my case, they're talking about marketing, they're talking about small business. They're posting questions to which I know the answers. So for example, if you were a member of a diabetes group and people were in there asking about, I'm trying to figure out a workout plan that might work well with me or for me, and whatever it is, that's where you can show up as the guest and the expert and just be really helpful. Now, you don't want to spam in those groups, but what happens is if you're answering people's questions and showing up and adding value, they go check out who you are, and when they check out who you are, they see that you're an owner of a business, and then they go check out your business. So the flow happens that way. So that's a really great way to focus your efforts on Facebook. The next really great thing about Facebook is the Google search results. So if people are out there Googling your business or looking for fitness centers in your community, then Facebook is one of the search engine results that are going to show up when they look for you. So it's important, it's an advantage to have that as one of the top 10 places that's going to show up when they search for you. The other advantage is people will go find you. So I talked about earlier, if they find you personally and they go and find your business, sometimes they'll have heard about your business, and then instead of looking you up for your website, they go look you up for your Facebook page. And a lot of people do that because they want to know what the personality of your business is. And when we hire a designer and you get your website, it's real hard to find the personality of a business. But when you could go to somebody's Facebook page, you begin to see their personality, and that's why it's a great place for you to have a strong presence and be contributing. Two other reasons why Facebook is fantastic for small businesses, and of course that is targeted Facebook ads, and that's where you can really niche down and say, I'm looking for women in their 45, from 45 to 55 who live in a 5-mile radius of my office, and they love pets. I don't know what it is, and you can really narrow down with Facebook ads, and so that's extremely powerful. The neat thing to know about that is you can publish ads to fans of your business for less than you can publish ads to cold leads. So one of the advantages of having a lot of fans is you can advertise to them for less. So that's a little known fact that can make a big difference for your business. And Of course, the last thing is if you've got a really nice outlined sales funnel, the Facebook ads and the whole process is an intricate part of taking people from social media into your opt-in offer, onto your email list where you market to them over time until you've got a client. So all those are great reasons to love Facebook, but I talked about earlier, we're focusing in on some basic marketing, so we're really talking about the idea of just having a basic presence on Facebook that's there in order to get you some Google search results and to demonstrate your online presence, and that's your two goals, right? We've got two goals. Number one, you're alive and kicking. I see a lot of times, in fact, I had a client this week who had a Facebook page and they hadn't posted to their Facebook page since April of this year. And if that's the case, if people find you and they go to your page and they see you haven't posted in several months, the natural question is, are these people still in business? Now, the bad news is if they look at you and you haven't posted since April and they go look at your competitor and your competitor posted today or yesterday, then the business that appears to be the most active and viable is your competitor. So one of the goals we're talking about tonight is demonstrating to people that you're alive and you're kicking and that you're still on and managing your business. The other goal with what we're talking about tonight is to add posts and contribute to the conversation that says, hey, we're neat people. And so that's developing the whole know, like, and trust us. And so really coming up with content that demonstrates the values of what you're doing or the values of your organization, the character, the personality, and finding ways to kind of convey that to your ideal client using your social media feed. So, all right, that brings us with that foundation then to, all right, if I want to build a presence on Facebook that's really designed at this level just for when people come to look at us, we're there, recognizing that unless you're posting or boosting your post or advertising, most of what people are going to see is only if they come looking for you. Is that kind of your experience? Am I on target with what you know, Dan?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean that, so far what you said is key, and why I think Facebook has really been helping us in the past couple of months is that we're consistent, people are seeing it, and there is sort of that likability cool factor.
Mm-hmm. And when you start getting to know your audience and you start posting things that people like, if 2 people like something, that means it's now exposed to a few of their friends. And so if 15 people then like something you've posted, now maybe exposed to 60 people and some new audience. And so it does help once you start understanding what do my audience respond to, and you begin to offer more of that, then you can really start to do some organic growth. But it's important for people to understand in the beginning, you may hear crickets every time you post, but that's not a reason to give up. You want to make sure that you keep, because people are looking, and when they look, you don't want them thinking that you're out of business. So, all right, so what I'm going to call this is the crock pot plan for social media. One of my favorite crock pot recipes is the set it and forget it. That's how I love to create marketing projects, so that I can pop in, address once, and then it'll go on autopilot for me for a few months. So what we're going to do through this process is schedule 1 to 2 posts a day. And we're going to do that with a basic recipe. So step number 1 is to figure out some sort of recipe or pattern for your social media. And so I've got one here. The first thing you need to decide is, do you want to post once a day or twice a day? So you're looking at a schedule here that's an example of a twice a day scheduled post. So what I did is I just sat down and said, okay, Monday morning, what could I post? What about if every Monday morning I posted something that was intended to inspire my audience? Every Monday afternoon, I'm going to post some sort of tip. And every Tuesday morning, I'll pose a question to my participants or to my fans. Every Tuesday afternoon, I'll post a challenge. So you just sit down and you try to figure out what are some things that I could do. And you're looking for general categories. And then in the next steps, what we'll do is start to develop what these categories are going to be. So now, once you've got 6 to 12 categories, let me go back. You need 6 categories if you're only going to post once a day. And I typically say just once on the weekends is fine. If you're going to post twice a day, then you're going to need 12 categories unless you want to repeat something. So then you're going to go find 12 posts for your categories. And that's because over a 3-month period, you're going to have 12 Mondays and 12 Tuesdays and 12 Wednesdays. So if I've got 12 Mondays, then I need 12 inspiring Monday content. And if I've got 12 Tuesdays, then I need 12, whatever they were, right? I need 12 questions. So if you follow me there, you're just looking for numbers of volumes of things. And what's nice is it begins to be really easy to start pulling these together. So here's some examples of categories that you could consider for your recipe. There's inspirational quotes and images, which always are very popular on social media. There are how-to and tips. So as an expert in your industry, there are lots of things that you know, and sometimes there's things that you take for granted that you could be sharing as quick tips on Facebook once a week. You've got your favorite products, your favorite books, your favorite recipes, your favorite apps, but if you have a my favorite thing that you want to post once a week, that's a great place and a popular thing for people. Old blog reposts. So if you've been blogging, this is a great time to start refeeding content to your audience and pulling out work that otherwise is lost. So reposting a blog or a podcast or whatever marketing tool that you have is an excellent category. Posting a challenge of the week, an encouraging idea or a word of wisdom maybe that you want to post once a week, a funny or inspiring image or a video. If you can, it's great to post to other people's blogs or other people's content and give them credit for that. You can also post to magazines and news articles that are professionally published pieces that support what you're trying to teach or work with your clients on. You can do shout-outs to your favorite people or your favorite local businesses, your favorite clients, your favorite staff members, whatever it is. That's a nice picture or a nice opportunity, particularly if you can use a picture with that and do a shout-out for somebody. You can pose a question of the week. And, of course, if you've got a book, you've got to have that plug in here, right? Publish quotes from your book and include and remind people that they can get your book once a week to do that would be great. Okay, so for example, now I know I need 12 questions of the week. Now I can sit down in a matter of 10 minutes. I can pop out 12 questions. So here's the list that I did. It took me about 4 or 5 minutes just to start this. So I need 12 questions of the week. Here are a few. What's your favorite healthy snack item? What's your favorite or who's your favorite workout partner? What do you prefer? Here's a couple of tips when you're doing questions for your audience. The first tip is if you can ask a question in a way that it's just a 1-word answer or 2-word answer, you'll get higher participation rates. Another tip is to make your audience members feel like an expert. So asking them for recommendations is a terrific question to post. That gives them a chance to express their knowledge or to point you in a direction of something that they love. So that's a good one. The other really good strategy is to encourage people to tag somebody. So if you look at the second question on here, who's your favorite workout partner? Tag him or her. That's a great way to pull in other people. Chalene Johnson is a whiz at doing this. So if you want good examples of that strategy, go check out Chalene Johnson's page. She does that extremely well, not only on Facebook, but on Instagram. Tagging is kind of her forte, and that is a way to really grow your list quickly. So there you are. That's an example of question of the week. Here's another example. Let's say you want to do quotes of the week. Just getting 12 of these as 12 little images lined up is just a project that you can sit down and do pretty quick, which leads me to social media hack number 1. And this is my first tip for you, and that is a great source named Fiverr. So most of you, let me ask this question for everybody. How many of you online are familiar with Fiverr? Raise your hand if you are familiar with Fiverr, or give me a yes shout out. Fiverr is basically people that are willing to do anything for you for $5. So I call it the addictive thing, a lot like Pinterest is to crafty people. Fiverr is to business people. So you go on there one afternoon. I suggest this is an afternoon project on a Saturday when you've got nothing better to be doing and you just need a mindless break. It's fun to go pop on to Fiverr and see who's willing to do what. There are people that are willing to get their dog to hold a sign with your business logo on. It's kind of crazy. There's all kinds of odd things that people will do. They'll do voiceovers for you. They'll write a quote for you or testimonial. They'll do research. There's amazing things that Fiverr will do for you. But one of the cool things that I was finding on there for your audience, Dan, last night was you can go on Fiverr and Google inside of Fiverr inspirational fitness quotes, and there are several people that will sell you 1,000 fitness quotes with the image and the artwork for just $5. So you just get a big old bundle of quotes with images done for you for $5. They look a lot like this, only they've got great fitness images and backgrounds. And you've got 1,000 of them, which is just great. So you can schedule those to your heart's content. Pick out the ones, out of 1,000 you may like 200 of them that may be perfect for your audience. But that's okay. For $5, I'm willing to splurge and do that. So there's some other ones you can get, inspirational business quotes. You can get motivational. There's all kinds. I'm trying to think of the categories that I saw last night. Just start doing some searches and seeing. A couple of things you're going to see in Fiverr I would encourage you to avoid. There are a lot of people from out of the country that will sell you fans or likes or reviews. Avoid those like the plague. They will bite you in the back end when it comes to social media. So never buy fans, never buy followers, although that's very prevalent on Fiverr. The thing you don't want to buy too is backlinks and stuff like that through Fiverr. You can really do some harm and some damage to your overall credibility because social media, Facebook and Twitter and all that know when you do that. So don't mess with those. But Fiverr is my first social media hack. My second social media hack is something that I really love. And if you've never used virtual assistants before, this is a great way to start. It is an online service called Fancy Hands. And Fancy Hands is basically an aggregate of virtual assistants that are sitting there waiting for projects. So you hop onto your Fancy Hands account and you type in there, I need research projects done. I need 12 inspirational quotes, or let's say, what's another project on there? I need 12 questions that would be perfect for my social media page about nutrition, right? And you can get in, an hour or two later, you'll have a response from somebody who has taken care of that and shipped you that. So yesterday I hopped onto Fancy Hands and I asked for 6 inspirational videos that are popular on YouTube right now that would be relevant to business and leadership. I asked for 24 motivational quotes from people like I don't remember, Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, and they were supposed to be motivational quotes about business. And so I just asked these Fancy Hands assistants to create my category list for me. So the encouraging, or the tip I would give you here is be very specific on Fancy Hands with what you want. And if you want 12 good ones, you might ask for 15 to 20. So Dan, have you been using Fancy Hands yet?
I have not used it yet, but I've heard you rave about it for quite a while. So one of these days when I have a job, I'll get on there.
Yeah, I use it probably 4 to 7 or 8 times a week. So it is great. You can have them send flowers to people for you. I have them do research. We were trying to do some utility work research, and I sent them out to do research on that. You can have them. I had them do client research for me on speaker bureaus the other day. So I just hop on there and you log onto the website. You ask them to do something for you. They can do basic graphic work for you. They can clean up images, remove backgrounds off of photos. They can do a lot of stuff for you. They've got a nice variety of talent in their back or in their office, if you will. And they're all American virtual assistants. They all, I think English is their only language that they think they offer right now. But really great, and you just pay a standard fee, and then you get so many tasks a month. I think $50 will get you 15 tasks a month. If you're interested in that, I just added to the bottom of this page, there's a link where I blog about how I use it. So if you go to theremarkableway.com/fancyhands helps me get more done, you'll see some ideas on how I use it for my business and our personal life. And you'll also get a coupon there for half price for your first month. And so take advantage of that and you'll save a little bit of money. And the cool thing is the credits roll over from month to month. So just a little tip, I would encourage you to get the biggest package the first month and then switch to a smaller package subsequent months, and you'll have a nice stockpile of points to roll over, and you got the first 50 points or whatever at half price. So I love Fancy Hands. So that's my second social media hack. Use Fancy Hands to do the research for you for several of the categories that you need to write. and then use Fiverr just to buy a bunch of them for $5. Okay, so going back to this, we've got our recipe now, and we've got our 12 categories. The next and easy phase is just to start scheduling the post. Now, if you're kind of unfamiliar with Facebook, when you go in to type a post on your page, this doesn't work on a personal page or a personal site. What do they call that? Personal page, I guess is what is it called, Dan? Yeah, whatever it is, personal page. But it works on a business page. You can schedule your post for the future. So you just, next to the publish button, instead, if you hit the little down arrow, it'll come up with this little schedule thing right here. And when you click on schedule, you'll get a little date and time stamp, and it'll let you schedule things for up to 6 months from now. So you can sit down now and schedule for every Monday morning. You can plug in all of your posts for the next 12 weeks if you want, and or 26 weeks, whatever, and start filling in your calendar quickly using that. So again, I want to remind you, this is another great use for fancy hands. You give them your login and ID password for Facebook if you're willing to trust them with that, and they will go in and schedule all of those for you after you've given them the list of what you want scheduled. And then a word of advice, once they've got them all scheduled, you can post or hop in and see what's scheduled and review them all there and just double check that they are in keeping with your brand and your personality, and to do some quick spell check and make sure everything looks good. So, all right. Final social media hack, and my tip for tonight is a great piece of software called Edgar. Now, there are a lot of different softwares you can use, so we didn't talk tonight about Buffer and Hootsuite. Those are scheduling tools you can make. So if we go back to scheduling here, I probably should point out, if you use Buffer or Hootsuite, people can see that it was scheduled. So that's the downside. So if you go look in your news feed at other people's Facebook pages, and particularly businesses, if they're using a third party like Hootsuite, you can see right under their name that it was posted via Hootsuite. So Facebook kind of rats you out that it's scheduled. However, if you use Facebook's scheduling tool, they don't rat you out that it was pre-scheduled. So that's the first value of using Facebook's scheduling tool instead of another service. The second value of using Facebook's scheduling tool is that I once heard this a long time ago, and it makes sense. I haven't verified it. I don't know that anybody really can. But Facebook seems to give you better visibility if they know you stayed within their app. So if you're out there using Hootsuite, they recognize that. And so if you're talking about your organic reach is between 4 and 8%, I would guess the people who use Hootsuite to pre-schedule 6 months are going to run closer to the 4%, whereas if you use Facebook to schedule, you're going to run closer to the 8%. Just a hunch, something I heard years ago from an expert in the industry, but certainly Hootsuite and Buffer would argue that there is no difference. Don't know if there is or not. But I do want to give credit to Edgar. It's meetedgar.com. This is a really cool tool. Dan, have you ever taken a look at Edgar?
No, that's the first time I've heard of it.
All right, Victory. This is one of the greatest social media tools. It's actually been out for a couple of years. A couple of the big names in the marketing world use it and help develop it. And it works really well for the strategy that we just talked about. So it is a third-party tool like Hootsuite, where you're going to go into a different app and you're going to load your stuff, and it's going to kick it out to Facebook for you. It'll also kick it out to LinkedIn and Twitter, and I think you can even do Pinterest, maybe even Instagram using Edgar, so you can start to hit all of the sites. But the cool thing about Edgar is it reuses the content. So it puts everything in buckets. So you go in and you name your buckets. So we talked about the 12 categories before. You would create 12 buckets, and one of your buckets would be question of the week. One of your buckets could be, inspirational image. Another one could be old blog posts. And so you could create 12 buckets, like the 12 categories that we had, and then you just start loading it, and it just pulls from the top of the bucket. So when you say that on Monday morning I want you to pull from the inspirational image bucket, it pulls the next image that's in the top of that bucket, and once it uses it, it just puts it back on the bottom, and it'll reuse it indefinitely. So of course you want to kind of make sure that you've got enough in there that people aren't recognizing the same image every 3 weeks. But if you go after this strategy, it's a really nice tool to just fill a whole bunch of buckets. And instead of writing 12 questions, you may want to write 50 questions, or you could write 30 questions and have over 6 months worth of content in there, and it would just kind of keep cycling through the buckets, and you can go in and just kind of tweak questions anytime you want. So Edgar is a really powerful tool. The downside, if you will, about Edgar is it's $50 a month. So you really got to have, you've got to make a commitment to using it and getting those buckets loaded. But if Facebook is an important strategy for you, Edgar is an amazing tool. And with that, we've got it. That's it. Basic marketing project with 3 cool hacks. Questions for me, Dan? Did I cover it all?
I think so. Yeah, I think you laid out a nice strategy for people, because I think what I hear from a lot of people is, I don't know what to post, or I don't know what to post on Tuesday, or and you really kind of laid out the formula for that. So now people can lay out a month at a time, and obviously if they can lay out a month, they can lay out 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. So,
yeah.
So that's perfect. That's perfect.
Very good. Well, here's my Facebook page. If you want to connect with me, you can find me there. You're always welcome to reach out to me. Of course, most people know me as your book girl, Dan. And we've got the Book It Authors the program that we've been offering. I think most of your people are familiar with that. You want to talk about that briefly?
I was just going to ask if people want to get a copy of your book. Lisa today was actually telling me how many great tips there were in your book for how to get, how to use local book marketing. If people want to get your book, the Book It book, where can they get a free copy? Where do they go to get a free copy? How does that work?
Yeah, I took that slide out. Tell you what, if you want a free copy of my book, I'd be happy to get you one. Send me an email, Nicole@theremarkableway.com. That's THEremarkableway.com. And send me an email, and I will get you a copy of my book. It's called Book It, How to Turn a Book into a Paying Customer. I am a marketing consultant, but I will tell you that I think books are one of the greatest low-maintenance marketing tools there are out there. There's so many things about why I love a book. I go through that in the book that you're going to request from me. But the really nice thing is it's a perfect crock-pot marketing tool. Once you get your book done, you just drop it in your system, and you delegate people to send it out at key times and hand it out at key places, and it's a fix it and forget it, and you can move on. So can
you stick around for 3 to 5 minutes for questions if people have questions about 12 Facebook posts or 30 Facebook posts, or a month worth of Facebook posts? One question I had for you is, because I do see businesses that aren't posting on Facebook. Do you have advice for people that just aren't posting on Facebook, or they're like, I can't post 12 times a week, or do as much as what you've suggested here today, which is what I think people should be doing? But if they're not doing that, what do you tell them?
I had a client this week who, like I said, hadn't posted since April, and if you really can't do it consistently and you don't have a strong footing, you're better off just shutting down your site. I would rather you put out your best foot forward than to put out a bad example of who you really are. So in this case, my client only had about 150 fans. Their ideal client was not looking for them. They were in the technology industry. Their ideal client's not on Facebook looking for them, and so we just said, hey, this is more stress than it's worth to you. They were struggling. We don't know what to put on there. We're just not getting it done. But let's shut it down. And it was an instant for them. So in that case, it was a wise decision. When you look at boomer marketing specifically, it is, I think, important for you to be there. I think that's where your ideal clients are. So at a minimum, if you could get in the habit of posting once a week. Once a week is 12 posts, will cover you for 3 months. So sit down and in 1 hour come up with 12 posts and get them scheduled, and then relax. Or if you want to do 6 months worth, then just do a few more, and then let it go for a few months, and just add an item to your calendar for 6 months from now to do it again. And twice a year you can hop in, and a bare minimum, get that going. And then you can delegate to your staff, or you can always add free content, anytime a moment strikes you that something's fun, and you can snap a picture and add it. But I would say if you can't keep up with it, in some cases you're better off to shut your site down, your Facebook page.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, because I've looked at some other businesses' Facebook pages, and when you look at it, you just think that they haven't posted since 2013. Are they out of business, or they just don't know that the internet exists? So you start to think, is this somebody I want to do business with? Now, that's where I think it almost goes to, I would tend to, if they don't have a Facebook page, I'm not going to tend to think much. But if they have a Facebook page and they're just completely ignoring it, then you're sort of like, why did they bother to set this up? They must not care about activity on the internet. So yeah, I think that's a great tip. So I don't see a lot of questions coming in, so I think you probably covered it. Let's see. Oh, here's a couple. What was the name of your book for paying clients? You got to answer that question, since this person stayed up till 2:30 in the morning. Holy cow.
Oh, yes. Okay. It is Book It, How to Turn a Book into Paying Customers. So happy to get that to you. Just email me at Nicole, Nicole, at theremarkableway.com.
And I think you took care of Jim. Jim wanted you to put the week schedule back up. You did that. So again, there's the week schedule for everybody catching this on the recording. So again, Nicole, thanks so much for doing this. And if people want to reach out to you for your book, they can do that at Nicole at theremarkableway.com, and she'll shoot you a copy of her book. So thanks again, everyone, for being on this, and have a great night.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.